Somebody is going to have to go. Chicago Fire producer discusses Herrmann's chances of being Firehouse 51 chief, with Pascal around. It seems as though there will only be room for either Herrmann or Pascal at Firehouse 51 after the Chicago Fire Season 13 finale. At the end of Season 12, Bowden expressed his desire to have Herrmann be his replacement. However, when Season 13 premiered, Dermot Mulroney's Pascal was hired as Firehouse 51's chief, while Herrmann was still a lieutenant. As the episodes continued, the original Chicago Fire character passed the captain's exam and is set to take the chief's test during the finale. If he passes, the fire station will face a predicament concerning who will be their chief. Ahead of the Chicago Fire Season 13 finale, Screen Rant's Rachel Forch spoke with showrunner Andrea Newman about what's to come in the last episode. One of the biggest question marks surrounding the final pertains to Herrmann's future at Firehouse 51. So Newman addressed how the chief conflict will play out at the end of Season 13. Check out the Chicago Fire showrunner's quote below. The Chicago Fire Season 13 characters will face a familiar problem during the finale. Who will be their chief going forward? Of course, they will also be dealing with other issues, like Pascal's attempted murder charge and what Stella decides to do regarding Natalie's complex living situation. However, Herrmann taking the chief's exam will also loom large throughout the episode, as Newman teased. Herrmann has been around since the show's beginning, so it would make sense if most of the characters would want him to take over as Firehouse 51's chief. But that doesn't mean they don't care about Pascal. Severide, Novak, and co. have grown to love Pascal and accept him as one of their own since his introduction during the Season 13 premiere. Whatever choice is made, there is sure to be conflict, heartbreak, and consequences. Chicago Fire's Firehouse 51 cannot have two chiefs, meaning if Herrmann passes his exam and Pascal stays, Herrmann must transfer to another station. If Herrmann passes and Pascal leaves, Herrmann can finally take over as Firehouse 51's chief. Or there is a third option. Herrmann, who, as Newman said, has felt enormous pressure to take all the steps to become a chief throughout Season 13, might decide not to take the test. Even though Herrmann becoming the chief would be an exciting development in his character arc, it would make sense for him to decide not to. That way, both Herrmann and Pascal could theoretically stay. The issue is that this would in turn affect Match's future at Firehouse 51. Ultimately, only time will tell what will happen to Herrmann and Pascal in the Season 13 finale. Given how Pascal's Chicago Fire story is going, though, he might not want to stick around in Chicago for very long, opening the door for Herrmann to become the chief. In a city built on grit, loyalty, and second chances, Chicago Fire has always delivered blazing drama both inside and outside the firehouse. But now, as Firehouse 51 stands at a pivotal crossroads, longtime fan favorite Christopher Herrmann may find himself facing the toughest battle of his career, not in a burning building, but in the politics of leadership. The appointment of Chief Tom Pascal to oversee operations at Firehouse 51 has stirred the pot in ways nobody quite expected. Introduced as a temporary overseer during Chief Bowden's semi-retirement transition, Pascal quickly proved he wasn't interested in just warming the chair. With his polished demeanor, bureaucratic connections, and methodical approach, he's the antithesis of Herrmann's streetwise, gut-driven leadership style. And it's creating a pressure cooker situation. Showrunner and executive producer Andrea Newman recently sat down with TV Pulse Weekly and gave a candid look at what lies ahead. This season is about legacy, and legacy comes with conflict, Newman said. We spent over a decade building Herrmann's arc, from a wisecracking engine driver to someone the entire house deeply respects. But now we've introduced a new variable in Pascal. And make no mistake, somebody is going to have to go. That statement sent shockwaves through the fandom. Could Herrmann, played by David Eigenberg, whose grounded, emotionally raw performances have anchored the series, really be forced out of 51? Newman didn't mince words. Pascal is not a villain, but he represents a different style of leadership. He's connected, calculated, and frankly, he's what the department higher-ups want. Herrmann, on the other hand, is Firehouse 51 through and through. But politics aren't always kind to people who lead with heart. In recent episodes, viewers have seen the tension simmer between the two. Pascal subtly overrides Herrmann's calls, imposes stricter protocol enforcement, and seems to carry a hidden disdain for the family-first ethos that 51 is known for. Yet he couches it all under the guise of departmental excellence. Fans are divided. Some see Pascal as a necessary evolution in the face of changing times. Others worry he's a bureaucratic shark circling an already vulnerable house. But all agree on one thing: Herrmann doesn't back down easily. The writing team is leaning into that very conflict. In the upcoming episode titled Line in the Ashes, Herrmann finds himself faced with a career-defining dilemma. Challenge Pascal's call on a dangerous high-rise rescue, or fall in line, and risk his moral compass. It's a tipping point, and Newman confirmed that decisions made in that episode will carry consequences through the rest of the season. David Eigenberg has brought so much depth to Herrmann over the years, Newman added. He's a man who's lost close friends, buried his fears, and carried this team on his shoulders. He doesn't want the title for ego. He wants it because he believes in protecting his house. But the system isn't always built for guys like him. Adding to the complexity, Pascal's backstory is slowly being revealed. A former firefighter with a clean record and a history of post-incident evaluations, he was once passed over for a leadership role due to a mental health issue following a traumatic rescue. The department has brought him back in an administrative capacity, but some wonder if his mission is to prove he never should have been benched in the first place. The best drama comes from gray areas. Newman said, "It's not black and white. It's not good guy versus bad guy. It's two men who love the job and believe in their version of what's best for the team. But the space isn't big enough for both of them long-term. Fans can expect allies to take sides. Ritter, Mouch, and even Stella are caught in the middle, trying to navigate loyalty to Herrmann while following chain of command. Cruz, ever the peacemaker, tries to broker understanding, but even his optimism may falter as things escalate. And what about Bowden? Though the beloved former chief has stepped into an advisory role, Newman hinted that Bowden may return when it matters most. Whether that means he'll intervene in the Herrmann versus Pascal battle, or leave it to them to decide their own fate, remains a mystery. Still, Newman teased a major Firehouse 51 shakeup before season's end. We're not afraid to pull emotional punches. Somebody may step away. Somebody may be pushed out. But it's going to hurt, and it's going to feel real. As speculation runs rampant online, the show's social media accounts have leaned into the drama. One cryptic tweet from the official Chicago Fire X, formerly Twitter, account read, "The Firehouse can't run on two engines of command. Who will take the wheel?" Meanwhile, Eigenberg remains tight-lipped in interviews, though a recent panel appearance saw him getting misty-eyed when discussing his time on the show. "I love Herrmann. I love that he's flawed. I love that he's loyal to a fault. If he goes down, he's going down swinging. That's all I'll say." Newman, for her part, wouldn't reveal if Herrmann ends the season as chief, demoted, or retired. But she did drop one tantalizing hint. Let's just say the season finale is called The Last Alarm.